Today, we'll cover a topic that combines inequalities and graphs. Graphing inequalities in one variable. Inequalities are just like equations but with one key difference. They don't only have one solution. Instead, they show a range of values, which makes graphing them super useful. By the end of this video, you'll know how to take an inequality and graph it on a number line, shading all possible values that make it true. Now that we know what inequalities are, let's look at how to graph them in one variable. The first step is to understand the inequality sign. The inequality sign tells us which direction to shade on the number line. For instance, if we see x is less than 5, we know we'll shade to the left of 5. If it's x is greater than or equal to 5, we'll shade to the right. The second step is to decide on an open or closed circle. For inequalities like less than or greater than, where the value is not included in the solution, we use an open circle to show that point is excluded. But if the inequality is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, we use a closed circle, since the value itself is part of the solution. The last step is to shade the solution area. After placing the open or closed circle, we shade the side of the number line that represents the solution set. This tells us all the possible values that make the inequality true. Remember, graphing inequalities is all about showing the values that satisfy the inequality visually. This makes it easy to see all possible solutions at a glance. Let's now try a few examples. Graph the inequality x is less than 3 on a number line. Let's start by looking at the inequality symbol. Here, we have x is less than 3. The less than symbol means we're looking for values of x that are smaller than 3, but not including 3 itself. This means we'll shade to the left of 3. Next, we'll mark the point x equals 3 on the number line. Because x is less than 3 but doesn't include 3, we'll use an open circle. The open circle shows that 3 is not part of the solution. Now that we have our open circle, we'll shade all values to the left of 3 to represent the range of possible solutions. This shading shows that any number less than 3 will satisfy the inequality. And that's it! Our graph of the inequality x is less than 3 shows an open circle at 3, with shading to the left, representing all values less than 3. Let's now discuss a more challenging example. Which of the following number lines correctly represents the inequality -2 times the quantity, x plus 3, is less than or equal to 7? Let's start by expanding and simplifying the inequality. Let's distribute the -2. Next, isolate the variable x by adding 6 to both sides of the inequality. Now we need to divide both sides by -2. Remember, when we divide by a negative, we have to flip the inequality sign. So, our solution is x is greater than or equal to -13/2. Now we need to graph this inequality on a number line. First, let's determine which direction to shade the number line. Since we have a greater than or equal to symbol, we'll shade to the right. Next, we'll mark the point x equals -13/2 with a circle. Because we have a greater than or equal to symbol, we know that -13/2 itself is part of the solution. So, we'll use a closed circle. Now that we have our circle, we'll shade all values to the right of -13/2 to represent the range of possible solutions. Let's verify our solution by substituting a few points from the shaded area back into the original inequality to confirm that they make the inequality true. This is true, so x equals -6 satisfies the inequality. Let's test out x equals -4 next. This is also true, so x equals -4 satisfies the inequality. Let's now test out x equals 0. Again, this is true, so x equals 0 satisfies the inequality. Therefore, the correct answer is option D, which represents a closed circle at x equals -13/2 and shading to the right. We confirmed this solution by testing points within the shaded area, all of which satisfied the original inequality. Great job today! Let's recap the core ideas we covered in graphing inequalities in one variable. First, inequalities show a range of solutions. Unlike equations, inequalities represent a range of values that satisfy them, not just one solution. This makes graphing a useful way to visually represent all possible values. Next are the steps for graphing inequalities on a number line. We start with identifying the inequality sign. The direction of the inequality sign tells us which side to shade on the number line. Less than and less than or equal to mean we shade to the left, while greater than and greater than or equal to mean we shade to the right. Next, if the inequality is strict, like less than or greater than, use an open circle to exclude that value. For less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, use a closed circle to include that boundary point. Finally, after marking the boundary, shade the side of the line that represents all solutions of the inequality. You can also verify your graph by substituting values from the shaded region back into the inequality to see if they hold true. This helps confirm that your solution set is correct. With these steps, you can confidently approach any inequality and graph its solution. Keep practicing, and remember, understanding inequalities is all about representing ranges visually, making it a powerful tool for seeing all possible solutions at a glance.